The vast, metallic corridors of the alien military headquarters thrummed with activity as recruits from across the galaxy assembled for their final evaluation. General Zilov, a towering figure of authority, stood before the gathered troops, his imposing presence commanding their unwavering attention. Zyloth's reputation for ruthless efficiency and an uncompromising demand for perfection was well known throughout the alien forces. With a critical eye, he surveyed the assembled recruits, his gaze quickly identifying the weakest among them. One such recruit was Ava, a young human woman whose slight frame and unassuming demeanor set her apart from the imposing alien soldiers around her. As Zyloth's piercing gaze fell upon her, a sneer of disdain crossed his angular features. "You there, the pathetic one in the back," Zyloth bellowed, his deep, resonant voice echoing through the cavernous hall. "Step forward and tell me, why do you think you have any place among the elite of our forces?" Ava swallowed nervously, her heart pounding as she stepped into the spotlight. She knew that Zyloth's reputation for intolerance of weakness was well earned, and that she would have to tread carefully if she was to have any chance of proving her worth. "General Zyloth," she began, her voice surprisingly steady, "I may not be as physically imposing as my fellow recruits, but I can assure you that I possess the determination and skill to excel in your training regime." Zyloth's brow furrowed, and a low chuckle rumbled in his chest. "Determination? Skill?" he scoffed. "You are a mere human, a species known for its frailty and lack of discipline. What could you possibly offer that my seasoned soldiers cannot?" The other recruits around Ava snickered, their amusement at her apparent inadequacy fueling Zyloth's derision. Undeterred, Ava held her ground. "General, I may be human, but I can assure you that I am more than capable of meeting the demands of your training. Give me the chance to prove myself, and I will not disappoint you." Zyloth's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, Ava feared that she had overstepped. But the general's expression shifted, and a cruel smile spread across his face. "Very well, human," he said, his voice dripping with condescension. "You shall have your chance. Report to the training grounds at 500 hours tomorrow. If you manage to survive the first week, then perhaps I will reconsider my assessment of your worthlessness." Ava swallowed hard, her resolve hardening as Zyloth's dismissive gaze swept past her. She knew that the road ahead would be arduous, but she was determined to defy the general's low expectations and prove her worth. As the recruits filed out of the hall, Ava could feel the eyes of her fellow soldiers upon her, their expressions a mix of pity and amusement. She squared her shoulders, refusing to let their derision shake her confidence. That night, as Ava lay in her bunk, staring up at the metallic ceiling of the barracks, she replayed the day's events in her mind. She had known from the moment she had been selected for this elite training program that she would be facing an uphill battle, but the scorn and dismissal she had endured from Zyloth had been a harsh blow to her pride. Yet, as she thought about the challenge that lay ahead, a spark of determination ignited within her. She had come too far to give up now, and she was determined to prove that her human heritage was no impediment to her ability to excel as a soldier. With a renewed sense of purpose, Ava closed her eyes and allowed herself to fall into a restless sleep, her mind already racing with strategies and tactics that she would employ in the grueling training sessions to come. The next morning, as the first rays of the alien sun began to peek over the horizon, Ava made her way to the training grounds, her steps confident and her gaze unwavering. She knew that Zyloth and the other recruits would be watching her every move, ready to pounce on any sign of weakness. As Ava approached the training area, she could see Zyloth standing at the center, his arms folded across his chest. The general's expression was unreadable, but Ava could sense the underlying disdain in his gaze. "Welcome, human," Zyloth said, his voice dripping with condescension. "Let us see if you have what it takes to survive the first day of my training regime." Ava took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders as she met the general's challenging stare. "I am ready, sir," she said, her voice firm and unwavering. Xyloth's lips curled into a cruel smile, and Ava knew that the true test of her mettle was about to begin. The training grounds were a harsh and unforgiving landscape, a vast expanse of rugged terrain and challenging obstacles that tested the limits of the recruits' physical and mental capabilities. Ava stood amidst the assembled soldiers, her gaze unwavering as Xyloth outlined the day's grueling regimen. "Today, you will face a series of challenges that will push you to your very limits," the general declared, his voice booming across the training area. "Those who cannot keep up will be weeded out, for there is no room for weakness in my elite forces." Ava listened intently, her mind already working to devise strategies that would allow her to excel despite her apparent physical disadvantages. She knew that Xyloth would be watching her every move, ready to pounce on any sign of faltering. As the training commenced, Ava quickly found herself struggling to keep pace with her alien counterparts. Their towering statures and enhanced physical capabilities allowed them to power through the demanding exercises with ease, while Ava found herself falling behind, her lungs burning and her muscles aching. Xyloth, ever the harsh taskmaster, barked orders and criticisms, his piercing gaze fixed on Ava. "You there, human," he would shout, his voice laced with disdain. "Do you really think you have any place among my soldiers? Pick up the pace, or you will be sent back to whatever backwater planet you crawled from." Ava gritted her teeth, determined not to let Xyloth's taunts break her spirit. She pushed herself to her limits, relying on her agility and quick thinking to compensate for her physical shortcomings. Whenever she felt herself faltering, she would recall the determination that had brought her to this point, and that motivation would spur her onward. As the days turned into weeks, Ava's perseverance began to pay off. While she still struggled to match the raw power of her alien counterparts, she excelled in the more technical aspects of the training, demonstrating a keen tactical mind and an uncanny ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Xyloth, despite his initial dismissal of the human recruit, could not help but notice Ava's growing prowess. The general's expression would darken with each passing day, his frustration mounting as he watched Ava defy his low expectations. One particularly grueling training exercise involved a high-stakes infiltration scenario, where the recruits were tasked with breaching a heavily fortified compound and neutralizing the enemy targets. As the exercise unfolded, Ava found herself separated from her team, forced to navigate the maze-like corridors on her own. Xyloth, observing the exercise from a command center, watched with a mixture of disdain and begrudging curiosity as Ava's small frame darted through the shadows, her movements quick and precise. She managed to evade the simulated enemy forces, slipping past their defenses and reaching the objective with remarkable efficiency. When the exercise concluded, Xyloth summoned Ava to the command center, his expression unreadable. "That was an impressive display," the general admitted, his words laced with a hint of reluctance. "Perhaps you are not as weak as I had initially assumed." Ava stood before him, her posture straight and her gaze unwavering. "Thank you, General. I appreciate your acknowledgement." Xyloth's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, Ava feared that she had overstepped her bounds. But the general's expression softened, albeit slightly. "Do not misunderstand me, human," Xyloth said. "You have proven yourself capable in certain areas, but that does not mean you are a true soldier. The true test lies ahead, and I assure you, it will be far more demanding than anything you have faced thus far." Ava nodded, her resolve unshaken. "I am ready, General. I will not disappoint you." Xyloth regarded her for a long moment, his eyes narrowed in contemplation. "We shall see, human. We shall see." As Ava returned to the barracks, she could feel the eyes of her fellow recruits upon her, their expressions a mix of resentment and grudging respect. She knew that she had earned Xyloth's grudging acknowledgement, but she also understood that the true challenge lay ahead. With a deep breath, Ava prepared herself for the next phase of the training, determined to prove once and for all that her human heritage was no hindrance to her abilities as a soldier. The tension in the air was palpable as the elite squad of alien soldiers, led by General Zyloth, descended upon their target, a heavily fortified enemy outpost situated on a remote barren planet. Ava, the human recruit who had managed to earn the grudging respect of the formidable general, found herself at the heart of the operation, her skills and determination put to the ultimate test. As the squad made their way through the treacherous terrain, Ava remained focused and alert, her senses heightened as she scanned the environment for any signs of danger. The alien soldiers around her moved with a well-rehearsed efficiency, their advanced technology and enhanced physical abilities giving them a distinct advantage. Ava, however, had learned to compensate for her apparent weaknesses through sheer determination and a keen tactical mind. She had studied the mission briefing meticulously, committing every detail to memory, and now she put her knowledge to the test, anticipating the enemy's movements and guiding her alien comrades with precision. As the squad closed in on the outpost, the sound of weapons fire and the shouts of battle echoed across the desolate landscape. Ava found herself caught in the midst of the chaos, her heart pounding as she dodged enemy fire and returned with her own well-aimed shots. Zyloth, observing the battle from a vantage point, watched Ava with a critical eye. The human's performance had been exemplary thus far, and the general couldn't help but feel a twinge of grudging respect for her abilities. However, the true test was yet to come. Suddenly, the squad's position was compromised, and they found themselves surrounded by a superior force of enemy soldiers. Zyloth barked orders, his voice cutting through the din of the firefight, as the aliens launched a counterattack with ruthless efficiency. Ava, her mind racing, quickly assessed the situation and began to formulate a plan. Knowing that the alien soldiers were relying on their raw power and advanced technology, she decided to use her agility and quick thinking to their advantage. Weaving her way through the chaos, Ava found an opening in the enemy's defenses and seized the opportunity, launching a daring flanking maneuver that caught the enemy off guard. Her precision strikes and tactical maneuvering allowed the alien squad to gain the upper hand, turning the tide of the battle. As the last of the enemy forces fell, Zyloth approached Ava, his expression unreadable. "That was an impressive display of skill, human," he said, his voice devoid of its usual disdain. Ava straightened her posture, meeting the general's gaze with a calm confidence. "Thank you, sir. I simply did what was necessary to ensure the success of the mission." Zyloth's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, Ava feared that she had overstepped her bounds. But to her surprise, the general's demeanor softened, and a hint of grudging respect crept into his voice. "Perhaps I have been too quick to judge your kind," Zyloth admitted, his words laced with a rare acknowledgement of his own bias. "You have proven yourself to be a capable and valuable member of this squad." Ava felt a surge of pride, but she remained composed, understanding the delicate nature of the situation. "I appreciate your acknowledgement, General. I hope that my actions have helped to change your perception of humans." Zyloth nodded, his gaze sweeping over the assembled squad. "Indeed, human, I must reconsider my preconceptions about your species." As the squad made their way back to the extraction point, Ava couldn't help but feel a sense of cautious optimism. She had managed to shatter Zyloth's low expectations, and in doing so, had perhaps opened the door to greater understanding and cooperation between humans and aliens. Yet, as she reflected on the events of the mission, Ava couldn't shake the nagging feeling that her true identity as a human had not yet been fully revealed. She knew that Zyloth's newfound respect was fragile, and that the general would be watching her every move with renewed scrutiny. Determined to maintain the delicate balance she had struck, Ava resolved to continue excelling in her duties, while also seeking opportunities to further bridge the gap between her species and the alien forces. It would be a challenging path, but she was more than willing to take on the task for the sake of proving that humans were worthy of respect and inclusion in the larger galactic community. The tension in the air was palpable as Ava stood before General Zyloth, her heart pounding with a mixture of apprehension and determination. The elite alien commander had summoned her to his private quarters, and Ava knew that this was a pivotal moment that could make or break the fragile trust she had managed to build with him. As Xyloth paced the room, his piercing gaze fixed on Ava, the human soldier steeled herself, prepared to face whatever accusations or demands the general might have. "Human," Xyloth began, his deep, resonant voice cutting through the silence. "I have been carefully observing your performance since our last mission, and I must say, I am impressed." Ava blinked, caught off guard by the general's unexpected words of praise. "I thank you, sir," she replied, her voice measured and composed. Xyloth raised a hand, silencing her. "Do not mistake my acknowledgement for any soft affection," he growled. "I am a pragmatist, and I recognize talent when I see it, regardless of the species." Ava nodded, understanding the underlying meaning in Xyloth's words. She knew that the general's respect was hard-earned and fragile, and that any misstep on her part could shatter it in an instant. However, Xyloth continued, his eyes narrowing, "There is something about you that has been troubling me." Ava felt a chill run down her spine, and she struggled to maintain her composure. "What do you mean, sir?" Xyloth's gaze bore into her, and Ava could sense the suspicion lurking beneath the surface. "Your skills and tactical prowess are unmatched by your alien counterparts, and yet you are human." He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. How is it possible that a member of such a seemingly weak and inferior species could excel in my elite forces? Ava's mind raced, searching for the right words to respond. She knew that the truth of her human identity could very well be her downfall, but she also couldn't bring herself to continue the deception. Taking a deep breath, she met Xyloth's gaze with unwavering resolve. "General, I have been honest with you from the beginning," she said, her voice steady. "I am indeed human, and I have worked tirelessly to prove my worth and capabilities to you and your soldiers." Xyloth's expression darkened, and Ava braced herself for the inevitable confrontation. "You have deceived me, human," he growled, his hands clenching into fists. "I should have known better than to trust one of your kind." "I have not deceived you, sir," Ava countered, her voice firm. "I have simply proven that humans are capable of more than you believe possible. I am no different from the alien soldiers you command, except for the fact that I come from a different species." Xyloth's eyes narrowed, and Ava could see the gears turning in his mind. "If what you say is true, then you have committed a grave offense by concealing your identity. The consequences for such an act can be severe." Ava felt her heart skip a beat, but she refused to back down. "I understand the gravity of the situation, General. However, I ask that you consider the possibility that your own preconceptions about humans may have blinded you to our true potential." Xyloth regarded her for a long moment, his expression unreadable. "You make a fair point, human," he said finally. "And I must admit, your performance thus far has been exceptional." Ava held her breath, waiting for Xyloth's verdict. "Very well," the general said, his voice low and measured. "I will keep your human identity a secret on one condition. You must continue to serve under my command and prove your worth to me and my soldiers." Ava felt a wave of relief wash over her, but she knew better than to let her guard down. "I understand, General. I give you my word that I will continue to serve with the utmost dedication and loyalty." Xyloth nodded, his expression softening ever so slightly. "See that you do, human. For your sake, and the sake of your species, I hope you do not disappoint me." As Ava left Xyloth's quarters, she couldn't help but feel a mix of trepidation and cautious optimism. She had managed to avoid a disastrous confrontation, but the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. Steeling her resolve, she vowed to continue proving her worth, not only to Xyloth, but to the entire alien hierarchy, and in doing so, paving the way for greater understanding and cooperation between humans and their alien counterparts. Ava stood at the forefront of the elite alien squadron, her heart pounding with a mixture of apprehension and determination. The mission they were about to undertake was of the utmost importance, and the stakes had never been higher. As General Zoloff briefed the team on the details of the operation, Ava listened intently, her mind racing with strategies and contingencies. She knew that every move she made would be scrutinized by the formidable alien commander, who had made it clear that her continued service and the safety of her human identity hung in the balance. The mission involved infiltrating the heavily fortified enemy stronghold and retrieving a set of invaluable intelligence. Zyloff's instructions were precise and uncompromising, leaving no room for error. As the squad launched their assault, Ava found herself at the center of the action, her agility and quick thinking proving crucial to the team's success. She deftly maneuvered through the chaos, neutralizing threats and providing vital intel to her alien comrades. Zyloff, observing the operation from a secure command post, watched Ava's every move with a critical eye. The general had made it clear that he would be closely monitoring her performance, and any sign of weakness or deception would be met with severe consequences. As the mission reached its climax, Ava found herself trapped in a narrow corridor, surrounded by a group of heavily armed enemy soldiers. Her heart raced as she assessed the situation, knowing that a single misstep could expose her human identity and jeopardize the entire operation. Thinking quickly, Ava initiated a daring plan, using her superior agility and knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver her opponents. She darted through the shadows, using the element of surprise to her advantage, and managed to reach the intelligence cache without a single casualty. As the squad regrouped and prepared for extraction, Zyloff approached Ava, his expression unreadable. "Human," he said, his voice low and measured. "Your performance was acceptable." Ava felt a surge of relief, but she knew better than to let her guard down. "Thank you, General. I am grateful for the opportunity to serve under your command." Zyloff's gaze narrowed, and Ava could sense the underlying tension. "Do not mistake my acknowledgement for any kind of affection or trust," he growled. "I am aware of your true identity, and I will be watching you closely. Any sign of deception or betrayal, and I will not hesitate to expose you." Ava nodded, her expression calm and resolute. "I understand, General. You have my word that I will continue to serve with the utmost loyalty and dedication." Zyloff regarded her for a long moment, his expression inscrutable. "See that you do, human. For your sake, and the sake of your species, I hope you do not disappoint me." As the squad boarded the extraction craft, Ava felt a sense of relief wash over her. She had managed to navigate the perilous mission without compromising her human identity, but she knew that the true challenge lay ahead. Back at the military headquarters, Ava found herself thrust into the center of a whirlwind of activity. Zyloff had assigned her to a series of high-priority missions, each one more demanding than the last. Ava threw herself into the work, determined to prove her worth and solidify her position within the alien hierarchy. As she excelled in her duties, Ava began to notice a subtle shift in the attitudes of her alien counterparts. While some still viewed her with suspicion and resentment, others began to show a grudging respect for her abilities. Slowly but surely, Ava was chipping away at the prejudices that had once dominated the alien forces. Zoloff, for his part, remained a formidable and uncompromising presence, but Ava could sense a growing sense of reluctant admiration in his demeanor. The general had made it clear that he would not tolerate any deception, but he had also come to recognize the value that Ava brought to his team. As the missions grew increasingly perilous, Ava found herself forming an unlikely bond with Zyloff, one built on mutual respect and a shared commitment to the success of their operations. The general's trust in her continued to grow, and Ava began to see him as more than just a ruthless commander, but as a complex and nuanced individual. With each passing day, Ava's hope grew stronger, the hope that she could not only earn the respect of Zyloff and his elite forces, but also pave the way for greater understanding and cooperation between humans and their alien counterparts. The air was thick with tension as Ava stood before General Zyloff, her heart racing with a mixture of fear and determination. The mission they had just returned from had been a harrowing one, and Ava's human identity had come dangerously close to being exposed. Xyloth's expression was unreadable as he paced the room, his piercing gaze fixed on the human soldier. Ava knew that the general was weighing his options, and that one wrong move on her part could seal her fate. "Human," Xyloth finally spoke, his deep voice cutting through the silence. "You have once again proven your worth on the battlefield. Your actions have saved the lives of my soldiers and ensured the success of the mission." Ava felt a sense of relief wash over her, but she knew better than to let her guard down. "Thank you, General. I am honored to serve under your command." Xyloth raised a hand, silencing her. However, he continued, "Your human identity has been compromised, and the consequences could be severe." Ava swallowed hard, her mind racing as she tried to formulate a response. "General, I understand the gravity of the situation, but I assure you, I have been nothing but loyal and dedicated to our cause." Xyloth's eyes narrowed, and Ava could see the conflict raging within him. "Your loyalty is not in question, human," he said, his voice tinged with a rare hint of uncertainty. "But the revelations of your true nature could have dire consequences for both you and your species." Ava took a deep breath, steeling her resolve. "General, I am willing to accept whatever consequences you deem necessary, but I ask that you consider the possibility that my human heritage does not make me any less capable or worthy of your trust." Xyloth regarded her for a long moment, his expression unreadable. Ava could feel the weight of his decision bearing down on her, and she knew that her very future, and perhaps the future of her species, hung in the balance. Finally, Xyloth spoke, his voice low and measured. "I have made a decision, human. In recognition of your exceptional service and the unique perspective you bring to our operations, I will keep your identity a secret." Ava felt a surge of relief, but she knew better than to let her guard down. "I am grateful for your understanding, General. I promise that I will continue to serve with the utmost loyalty and dedication." Xyloth raised a hand, silencing her once more. "However, there is a condition to my decision." His gaze bore into her, and Ava felt a chill run down her spine. "You must pledge your unwavering loyalty to me and my forces. Any sign of betrayal or deception, and I will not hesitate to expose your true nature to the entire hierarchy." Ava swallowed hard, her mind racing as she considered the implications of Xyloth's offer. She knew that the general's trust was fragile, and that a single misstep could have devastating consequences. But she also recognized the opportunity that this presented, the chance to bridge the gap between humans and aliens, and to prove that her species could be valuable allies in the ongoing struggle against their common foes. With a deep breath, Ava met Xyloth's gaze, her expression resolute. "General, you have my word. I will serve you and your forces with the utmost loyalty and dedication. I will not betray your trust for the sake of my own people and the future of our alliance." Xyloth nodded, a hint of satisfaction in his expression. "See that you do, human. For your sake, and the sake of your species, I hope you do not disappoint me." As Ava left Xyloth's quarters, she felt a weight lifted from her shoulders, but she knew that the true test was yet to come. She had made a pact with the formidable alien general, and she was determined to uphold her end of the bargain, not just for her own survival, but for the greater good of her species and the entire galactic community. With renewed purpose, Ava set her sights on the challenges that lay ahead, fully prepared to face them head-on and prove that humans were worthy of a place among the elite alien forces. The air crackled with tension as Ava and her squad of elite alien soldiers descended upon the enemy stronghold, their advanced weaponry and tactical prowess cutting a swath through the enemy's defenses. At the heart of the operation was General Xyloth, his piercing gaze scanning the battlefield as he barked orders to his troops. Ava, her human identity carefully concealed, fought alongside her alien comrades with unwavering determination. She knew that every move she made would be scrutinized by Xyloth, and that the slightest misstep could jeopardize not only her own survival, but the future of the fragile alliance she had forged with the formidable general. As the battle raged on, Ava found herself separated from the main squadron, trapped in a labyrinth of corridors and facing a relentless onslaught of enemy soldiers. With her ammunition running low and her options dwindling, she knew that she had to devise a bold plan if she was to have any chance of emerging victorious. Thinking quickly, Ava used her superior agility and intimate knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver her opponents. She darted through the shadows, her movements fluid and precise, as she methodically neutralized each enemy in her path. Fueled by a deep sense of purpose and the weight of her pact with Xyloth, Ava fought with a ferocity that belied her human origins. As the last of the enemy forces fell, Ava emerged from the shadows, her uniform tattered and her expression grim. She knew that the true test was yet to come, the moment when she would have to face Xyloth and account for her actions. The general, having witnessed the conclusion of the battle from a secure vantage point, strode towards Ava, his expression unreadable. "Human," he said, his deep voice cutting through the silence. "You have once again proven your worth on the battlefield." Ava felt a surge of relief, but she knew better than to let her guard down. "Thank you, General. I simply did what was necessary to ensure the success of the mission." Xyloth's gaze narrowed, and Ava could sense the underlying tension. "Your actions have not gone unnoticed by the higher ranks," he said, his voice laced with a hint of reluctant admiration. "They have been impressed by your performance." Ava blinked, caught off guard by the general's words. I don't understand, sir. I thought my human heritage would be a liability, not an asset." Xyloth raised a hand, silencing her. "It is true that your species has long been viewed with disdain by many in our ranks," he admitted, "but your actions have challenged those preconceptions. You have proven that humans can be valuable allies in our ongoing struggle against our common foes." Ava felt a surge of pride, but she knew that the battle was far from over. "General, I am honored by your acknowledgement. But I must ask, what does this mean for my future and the future of my people?" Xyloth's expression darkened, and Ava felt a chill run down her spine. "That, human, is a decision that will be made by the highest echelons of our hierarchy," he said, his voice low and serious. "Your actions have earned you a measure of respect, but there are still many who would see your kind destroyed." Ava swallowed hard, her mind racing as she considered the implications of Xyloth's words. "Then it is up to me to continue proving the worth of my species," she said, her voice firm and resolute. "I will not rest until I have secured a place for humans among your elite forces and forged an alliance that will stand the test of time." Xyloth regarded her for a long moment, a hint of something akin to admiration flickering in his gaze. "Then I suggest you prepare yourself, human," he said, a ghost of a smile tugging at the corner of his lips. "The battles ahead will be fierce, and the challenges you face will test the limits of your resolve." Ava squared her shoulders, her expression unwavering. "I am ready, General. I will not let you down, nor will I betray the trust you have placed in me." Xyloth nodded, his gaze sweeping over the assembled squad. "See that you don't, human. For the sake of your species and the future of our alliance, I hope you succeed." As the squad prepared to depart, Ava felt a renewed sense of purpose coursing through her veins. She knew that the road ahead would be arduous, but she was determined to forge a path that would not only secure her own future, but pave the way for a new era of cooperation and understanding between humans and their alien counterparts. The passage of time had brought about a remarkable transformation in the relationship between Ava, the human soldier, and General Xyloth, the once skeptical alien commander. What had once been a tenuous alliance built on mistrust and suspicion had now blossomed into a partnership forged through the crucible of countless battles and shared victories. As Ava stood at Xyloth's side, her gaze sweeping across the assembled troops, she marveled at the progress they had made. The once hostile alien soldiers had come to respect and admire her. their initial disdain for her human heritage replaced by a newfound appreciation for her skills and strategic acumen. It had not been an easy journey, however. Ava had faced countless challenges, both on the battlefield and within the political machinations of the alien hierarchy. But with Xylot's unwavering support and her own unshakable determination, she had managed to not only secure a place for herself, but to pave the way for a new era of cooperation between humans and their alien counterparts. The crowning achievement of their partnership had come during a pivotal confrontation with a formidable enemy force, a battle that would come to be remembered as a turning point in the ongoing galactic conflict. As the two armies clashed, Ava and Xyloth had worked in perfect synchrony, their complementary skills and unorthodox tactics decimating the enemy's defenses and securing a decisive victory. In the aftermath of the battle, the news of Ava's human heritage had spread like wildfire through the ranks, igniting a wave of both admiration and resentment. But this time, Xyloth stood firmly at her side, his unwavering support and endorsement of her abilities, silencing even the most vocal of her critics. Humans, the general had declared in a speech to the assembled troops, are not the weak and insignificant creatures we once believed them to be. This human, Ava, has proven time and time again that her species possesses a strength and determination that rival our own. She has earned her place among us, and I expect each and every one of you to treat her with the same respect and deference that you would show to any of your own kind. The words had reverberated through the crowd, and Ava had felt a swell of pride and gratitude rise within her. Xyloth's public endorsement had not only solidified her standing within the alien hierarchy, but had also opened the doors for greater cooperation and understanding between the two species. In the years that followed, Ava and Xyloth continued to lead their forces to victory, their partnership becoming a symbol of the new era of unity and mutual respect. Whenever they entered a battle, the sight of the human soldier and the alien general fighting side by side would strike fear into the hearts of their enemies, for they knew that their combined might was unmatched. As Ava looked back on her journey, she couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. She had not only proven her own worth, but had also paved the way for a future where humans and aliens could stand as equals, united in their pursuit of a common goal. And as she stood at Xyloth's side, their gazes locked in a silent understanding, Ava knew that their legacy would live on long after they were gone. For they had not just forged a partnership, but had created a blueprint for a new age of cooperation and understanding, one that would inspire generations to come. "General," Ava said, her voice tinged with a hint of emotion, "I want to thank you for your trust, your support, and your belief in me and my people. Without you, none of this would have been possible." Xyloth nodded, a rare smile tugging at the corner of his lips. "You have earned it, human, and I have no doubt that your species will continue to surprise and impress us all in the years to come." As they turned to face the assembled troops, Ava knew that the future was theirs to shape, a future where the divide between humans and aliens had been bridged, and the path to a brighter, more prosperous galaxy lay open before them.